What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Table Talk Podcast. You know who it is. It is not Minghan, but it is Raj. Hello, everybody. We have Mingyue on the podcast as per usual.
Hello, first time.
And we have our guest for today, the one and only. Make some noise for Naomi!
Wrong one.
Wrong one.
Wrong one. I'm so sorry. Hi, Ne.
Hi.
It's been a while since you were on the podcast.
Yep.
The last time you were here, we were talking about you and long distance relationships. I think.
Yes.
Fun one. Fun one. How's your week been, guys? It's at the time of recording this, we just found out the CMCO is back.
Correct. We are on the eve of the CMCO. You know, we like celebrating eves, but maybe this kind of eve we will have to pass if we can.
Yeah.
But I'm sure right now, when this episode comes out, it'll be like, what, 1 week, 2 weeks after the CMCO?
It might be over. We don't know.
Yeah, we have no idea. But the point that we're trying to make here is we hope everybody is safe.
That's right.
Everybody is healthy.
That's
Please
right.
be compliant to the SOPs because...
Only if you want to live.
Only if you want to live.
But
And
actually-
only if you want the people around you to continue living as well.
Yeah, actually, you know, even if you don't want to live, don't be selfish lah.
Correct.
Stay
Exactly.
home.
Speaking about selfish, what is today's topic, Mingyue?
Oh my goodness. Well, you couldn't have joined us for a more perfect time, Ne and Raj. Today we're talking about something that hits home hard. Check out
very
that Triple
hard.
H, dude.
Hits home hearts happily. Hits home heart happily.
All the time.
Holheim.
Okay, that's crazy. Okay, no, this is something that everyone in some capacity suffers or goes through, right? Especially when we are wronged. And I'm talking about, you know, even the small things like arguments, misunderstandings, general conflict and tension that happens on a daily basis with your relationship circles, right? Sometimes when we are wronged and we're unhappy and on the side of unfairness, right, we tend to want to do something about it. Whether it's to
Yes.
retaliate, whether it's to shout, fight, argue.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's wishing the worst on people.
Yes.
Which escalates to, if you watch true crime or any of those weird documentaries, it escalates to killing.
Whoa.
But we're not going to go there because none of us at this table have had hands-on experience with manslaughter.
Correct. So
that I'm aware of.
to consolidate that, today's topic is talking about what will you do if someone has wronged you?
Yeah.
How will you react when someone has committed some
Correct.
form of wrongdoing to you? Whether it's mentally or saying something to you or hurting you or breaking your heart or talking bad about you.
That's right. We want to present a couple of options you can have. We will talk about the natural processes and the natural reactions you probably have as well, which does include wishing the worst on someone, aka in your mind actually killing them. So
Yes.
this is a you fan audience submission. His topic suggestion was wishing death upon someone, which is pretty heavy. So we're gonna kind of backtrack that one. I'm gonna ghost down a little bit. Let's start off with a fun story before we dive into the deep dark world of despair.
Yeah.
Saw that again.
Wow. 3 Fs. Deep dark world of despair.
Raj is excellent speller. Naomi, when's the
Yes.
last time someone wronged you on a daily basis?
Whoa. Wow. Okay, the last big story that I can remember.
Do we need to hold hands for this? I feel like we need to hold hands for this.
We might.
Okay.
It was in 2017.
Oh.
Let me condense it and then we
Okay.
can elaborate it later. So I had a very, very good friend. Then he moved to Melbourne for studies.
Okay.
Long story short.
You were in Melbourne as well, right?
Yes, I
Okay.
was in Melbourne. And then I was like, hey, let me help you set up your bank account and whatnot. And then he came up to me. He was
specific.
He was like, you know what? I'm in a new country. I want a clean slate. And from then onwards, we weren't friends.
Like that, just out of the blue.
It was over a text, by the way.
Hold my panties and my shoes. Let's get this straight. You were friends with him in KL.
We were best friends. And let me bring you back a little bit. A month ago, I was at his farewell and we were like joking. We're like, ha.
A month ago in 2017.
Yes.
Okay.
Before he went to Melbourne, we were like, ha ha ha, let's catch up since we're best friends. You know, best time to be alive, right? He went over. 2 weeks later, I texted him, hey, do you need help? I'm a bit busy. 2 weeks after that, I'm still a bit busy. And then I went, bro, what's going on?
Yeah.
I'm in a new country. I want a clean slate.
That is.
Wow.
He broke up the best friendship.
How did you feel when he told you this? What was going on through your mind?
Shucks.
I prayed to God
Okay.
that every time he crossed the road, that a car doesn't see him and bam!
Are you for real?
Yeah, I did. I prayed. I prayed over that road every day.
Perfect. It's perfect that you actually fit the bill when it comes to today's conversation. We're gonna put a quick pin in that one. Raj,
Yep.
I'm not gonna ask you yet because I feel like the stories are gonna come out real raw today.
Yes, I'm feeling it, man.
I just need to breathe for a bit. That's crazy.
No,
okay.
Deep.
Okay, so we
shucks.
understand how you feel, and I think you have every right to feel that
Angry.
because this is your friend. It's someone
Yeah.
you trust, it's someone you love, and all of a sudden, no, brother, I'm going to Australia. I'm a bloody big shot. I don't want to be friends with you, right? So easy for him to say
Did you
that.
ever find out why? Like that was like why that happened, or like why?
So there's a bit of a backstory.
I have a speculation.
Okay, go for
Okay,
it.
let's hear it.
I think. Let me just hit on the Titanic fruit. I think that maybe he fell in love with Naomi, like that guy. Let's call him.
You're not wrong though.
What's his name?
Jackson.
Jackson fell in love with Naomi, and being abroad, away from your family and friends, you look at Naomi as like, oh my gosh, she's so beautiful. I want to be with you, but I can't because new country. I don't know if you love me,
Wow.
so I'm sorry. I can't do this anymore.
Do you think there's some truth to that?
You're not wrong at all. So he confessed before going over, and I said like, no, I don't think we will happen. And he was like, ha ha ha, okay, sure. And I was already there for a year, so then we were still okay, we were still talking. He was still helping me with my accounts.
Wait, hold on. So when did he tell you that he liked you?
In 2016.
And you guys were still talking until 2017.
Yes.
When he came over and then he said, I cannot do this anymore. I need new slate.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. Let's
break it
dissect
down.
that.
Yeah,
Let's
come on,
dissect
Raj,
that.
hit it.
So let's talk about the two parties in this situation. We have Naomi, who in this case, we will call her the victim for lack of a better word, okay? The person who is subject to the emotional trauma. Okay, I'm sorry, very big words. But then we also have the perpetrator, who is
Wow.
Jackson.
Jackson.
So from Naomi's point of view, you can understand you're feeling hurt, you're feeling very angry, you're feeling confused. Why is this person who I love and I care for suddenly go to a different country and just say, I want to have a clean slate? And then after a while, I like you, can we be together, right?
no,
Like-
no, it's the reverse.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
It's
you told-
like first and then
Yeah.
And then that
and
happened.
then clean slate.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I think we understand your emotions on a general spectrum. Let's talk about Jackson.
I'll be Jackson.
Okay. Let's talk about Jackson.
Okay.
So I think Jackson, there's a few things going on through his mind.
Definitely.
And from a guy's perspective, let's try to break it down real
Yeah.
quick one time. Chicka, chicka, bam,
Ask me,
bam.
ask me. I'm Jackson.
Jackson, what is going on
Yes.
through your mind, Jackson?
So, Raj, I'm so happy that you invited me to the show today. As Jackson, I think it's been said that my best friendship with Ne has been ongoing through since
20?
2011.
for 5+ years prior to 2016. Am I in love with her? Yes. Did I tell her? Yes. Did she say no to us? Yes.
Yes.
But I tried to continue being her friend, right? And maybe I tried for so long and I realized in 2017 I can't do that anymore. Do you think that that might be the case of why he decided to end the best friendship? Maybe because he couldn't get past you because you guys were still friends.
I think so. Maybe.
Did you think about it from this point of perspective?
I have. I
Okay,
have.
okay.
And
Still doesn't make you
I sit down and think about it. Did I wrong him? Of course, in friendships, we will have like, you wrong me certain times and then he wrongs you certain times. But we always forgive, right?
No, I guess that's true. But when it comes to emotions and feelings, right? I think that's where things get a little bit...
Yeah.
Blurry.
There's no right or wrong, right?
But the bottom line is, and this is something I think you can very easily observe and notice with human beings in general, we are very, very poor communicators.
Oh,
That is how we are designed.
on.
Especially for things like emotions, which are so abstract and so hard to materialize as thoughts.
Oi.
What more words?
come on.
So, in Jackson's defense, not in his defense, but to try to think about it from Jackson's perspective, he must have had 1,001 different emotions going on through his mind. But then when it comes out through the mouth, I want a clean slate.
Yeah.
You know? is it right or wrong? He could have done it better.
Definitely.
No doubt about
He
that.
could have written you a letter.
Exactly.
Or could have sat you down.
Yes, he could have. And the ability to communicate your thoughts and emotions is something that we have to develop.
That's right. Wow. I feel like we should also just kind of explore the wishing the worst on him. I don't
talk
know
about
if
that.
I actually don't know if you're kidding about the whole.
No, I was really, really hurt.
Oh,
And like there was no closure. There's no proper closure.
until now.
Oh, there was the closure was I said like, bro, let's catch up.
Yep.
Let's go to cafe and then let's see how things are. And then
When was this?
This was in maybe 2018. I'm not sure.
So a year later.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, you know what? I'm done with this because I feel bad. I feel bad.
feel bad. Come
Yeah.
on.
And then I offered to buy his meal, and that was the end of it. That was the end of our ever talking relationship or friendship.
No, but what do you all talk about?
I asked, how is he? How's
But you all didn't talk about like the issue. lah.
no, we didn't.
You just kind of glided over it.
Yeah.
Why are we
Yeah.
so afraid of the truth, right?
Oh, that's a good question, bro.
It's a different podcast, bro.
That's a different podcast.
Okay, let's talk about wishing the worst on him.
Yep.
I think that happens when you spend a lot of time thinking about the situation, right? I mean, the only reason why you go to lengths of like hoping something bad happens to him is because a couple of things like Raj mentioned just now, like, you know, you love this person so much, you care for this person so much, and then it's all ripped away. Like you pull a rug.
Imposter. Traitor. Sus. Yeah.
We're
Sorry,
still
please.
on Among Us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Go on.
And then you feel like you've been wrong, lah. I guess that's why, right?
Yeah.
Like how would you put into words what you felt at that time, leading you to be like, oh, I wish something bad happens to him? Like, did you want him to come back like groveling and say, I'm so sorry, let's be best friends again? Is that what you wanted?
No.
You just wanted him to break his leg?
I wanted him to feel the hurt that I was feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
Expand on that a little bit. I think that's where we're going to
So
jump
mine
in.
is more emotional hurt, right?
Definitely.
But there's nothing that I can invoke emotional hurt to him because he
Correct.
sort of cut ties, right? So for me, it was
Correct.
physical hurt lah. Let's hope he either falls down so bad he has to go in a hospital because hospital bills are really expensive there.
Oh, financial hit.
Financial,
That segue.
physical.
Or, I know, like a car hits him.
That he can't work. Career. That's crazy.
He fails his exams.
Ooh, academic hit.
Dude. What
Like,
else?
I just hope the worst lah. Like
Yeah.
he just really can't survive on his own. That kind, the
And-
kind that nobody can help him. Wow. Yeah.
Okay, let's put a pin in that. Let's move
Yes.
on to Raj.
Yep.
Raj, you are a hurt human.
I'm a very, very hurt human.
Because you love so much. And actually, okay, so actually that's something to consider, right? The reason why you guys, myself included, find ourselves in positions of being hurt so much is because we also love so much. And this happens to people who care a lot, right? More than they care about themselves, they care for other people. Yeah, they call it the people who love too hard.
Yep.
And when you love too hard, when you fall hard, it hurts hard. Raj, from the buffet of hurt stories you can
Yes.
provide us today, give us the creme de la creme.
Ooh,
Or something that's fresher.
where do I even start?
Oh.
Where do I even freaking start?
Let me give you a...
Okay, I'll give you an option. Do you want to know friendship story? You want to know relationship story? You want to know family story? Which of these three you want?
Nay.
Friendship, relationship,
Which one's
or
the
family?
juiciest?
All also equally juicy.
Nay, you choose.
Relationship.
Relationship. Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, let's talk about my first relationship in college.
Oh.
Okay, because I don't think I've spoken about it ever on the podcast or in any of our shows, as a matter of fact. So to paint the picture, we were together for 9 months. I met her in college. And, you know, I think we had a pretty exciting relationship. It was my very first relationship in my life. And me being the Bollywood superstar hidden deep inside me.
Of course.
I thought, you know, you date for 3 months means you're going to get married. That was the thought process
The
that I had.
math checks out.
Perfect. 3 months. She is the one.
She is.
Naive, young, childish, pick your favorite adjective, but we'll go with that. And the thing about me also is that when I date or when I used to date is that I will give 110% to the relationship.
wow. Come on.
There is nothing wrong about that. It's good to be very committed in your relationship, but it gets a bit difficult when, number one, you expect the same of your partner and you expect your partner to be in the exact same wavelength and the similar thinking pattern as you are. So this is an issue about expectations. So anyways, I was giving 110%. I told her no matter what, we're going to make things work out. but she didn't think the same and she didn't feel the same.
Yeah.
And naturally, that was not communicated because, again, moral of the story is humans are not very good communicators, but we need to work on it. But anyways, after 9 months, out of the blue, she just texted me and said, I'm sorry, we have to end it. And I said, okay, why? Then she said, because I lost feelings for you. And in my mind, I couldn't comprehend this. What is mean, lose feelings for me? Okay? Because in love, feelings will come, feelings and go, but you have to make the decision to love. Love is a choice. You cannot feel like you're a 19-year-old puberty teenager for the rest of your life. You know, things will happen, difficulties, challenges, fights, arguments, but you work through it. And I was ready to commit to that, but she wasn't. So then she said, I lost feelings for you, let's break up. And at that point, I've never felt that kind of hurt in my life before. I feel that that incident was the very first time I really felt a deep emotional hurt within my heart. Because it's the first time I clearly remember my trust being broken because I poured so much into the relationship, but it wasn't reciprocated. So what did I do next?
Set fire to the world.
So this is very interesting. And I think the good thing about this podcast is we can be very open about our past mistakes and we can talk about it and we can reflect on it. So hopefully you guys learn something and you guys don't repeat the mistakes that I made. So I was very hurt at that point of time. And I actually went on Twitter and I started talking shit about her. On Twitter, quite a bit. I used to say, I put in 110%, but this is what you give me. How can you say you lost all feelings for me? So this is what it is like, to be someone who doesn't know what she wants in her life. And I did it quite a lot, quite frequently. And everybody following me on Twitter back then, we were in the similar friend circles. We sort of knew each other. So now looking back, that was a very ungentlemanly thing to do. It was a very, very wrong thing to do. Regardless of what her reason is, I have to act in a proper manner. But when you're emotionally hurt, it's hard to do that. And yes, I did want the worst for her, no doubt. I wanted her to be as sad as I was, but she probably wasn't. I wanted her to feel the pain that I was feeling, but she probably wasn't feeling that because in her mind, she had her own challenges and problems to solve. But then it eventually culminated to a point where she called me up 3 months later out of the blue while I was out on a shoot. And she said, hi, is this Raj? Then I'm like, yeah, who is this? Then she's like, hey, this is your ex. And why are you talking shit about me on Twitter?
Oh.
And I didn't have anything to say because deep down inside, I knew I was wrong. And then she basically confronted me about that. And then
How do you reply?
I didn't reply. I was just quiet because I knew she had a point.
Yeah.
So I guess the moral value that I'm trying to inculcate here is that feeling hurt is normal.
Yeah.
Whether you want them to feel your emotional pain or you want them to go through financial hurt and career hurt and academic hurt, that is all completely normal. It's completely human to feel that. As long as you don't materialize it, it is fine. As long as you don't inflict that harm onto someone, it is okay. So I guess what I'm trying to say here is when you go through a difficult relationship or a difficult breakup, try your best to be composed and be calm and take the higher road.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, it's definitely easier said than done.
Definitely.
Right. Let's talk about why humans behave so. I think there is always this mental image of a balance, of a weighing scale of sorts, right? That, like you said just now, you put in effort, you've put in this sort of time and effort and relationship and all this energy, emotions that you put on one hand, you do have some sort of expectation of what that outcome needs to be. So whether in your case is that best friendship, having cared for this person for so long, you would expect that that person does also care for you and want to see that friendship continue on, right?
Yeah.
Shit hits the fan when this one is ejected from the other scale.
What a grammar you are.
Come on, I am grammar.
Oxford Dictionary.
Ya, saya kamus dewan
Bahasa dan pusaka.
dan lain-lain bangsa. So what happens is when it is taken away from what is expected, there is a sense of I feel wronged. It's not right. It's not fair. Fair is the key word I'm going to use here. And then that escalates to, this is injustice upon me, right? And I think, like Raj said, it's only natural for humans to feel like we deserve a certain treatment when we have received it for all this time. I mean, think about it. You guys, if you eat chicken rice for 100 days in a row, on 101 day, what will you expect?
I think chicken rice.
That's right, right? It's the same for emotions, friendships, and relationships. Having the taste of love for 9 months thinking you're gonna marry her, right? On the 10th month, and she says, I'm out. Of course, there's a disparity there, right? And I mean, for myself included, there is so many instances in life where I feel like, I put in so much effort, right? I love hard.
Yeah.
I care hard. And then at the end of the day, when things don't tally up to what my score of love should be, dude, you feel like the whole world has wronged you, man. And then immediately, what do you want for that person to feel? It's two things, right? One is you want the person to come back. But does that fix anything? I think this is a conversation that we always have, right? Just because you're in a bad situation, having that person come back or putting yourself back into that relationship, does it actually fix anything? Because most times it doesn't if you think about it objectively. Which results in the other way, right? The road commonly taken, vengeance.
Yeah.
In spite, not in spite of her, it's in spite, in the emotion of spite, when you're feeling negative and angry and hurt and feel like you're wrong, right? The only natural thing to do as living beings is when you're hurt, you lash out, right?
Yeah.
And then it comes out in the form of like your tweets, because it's a space for your thoughts. Yeah. It comes out in the thoughts of how you want that person to be hurt in all aspects. Can we just quickly run through the many aspects you can hurt somebody?
Financial hurt.
Financial.
Academic hurt.
Academic.
Career hurt.
Career.
Physical hurt.
Physical.
Facebook, Instagram, Twitter hurt.
Social media hurt.
Social media hurt.
Yep.
And investment hurt coming soon.
Investment hurt. We will talk about it in the next podcast. No, I think where that leaves us is that we want that person to feel the hurt that we're feeling, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to tell you guys and be like high and mighty and holy and tell you stop feeling that. No, guys, we all feel that.
Exactly.
Even for myself, right? I would want the person who has wronged me to also feel that hurt. I think where we need to kind of bring the conversation is to how can we have mastery over this era of our life?
That's a great
Because
question.
at the end of the day, right, you wanting vengeance, you wanting revenge on that person, the only poison individual is you. Because that person, I mean, in the sense of that girl, I mean, she's probably like, moved on and probably doesn't, like you said, doesn't feel the hurt that you were feeling. In the case of Jackson, he was like, oh, new country, new vibes. Like he's trying to explore the new country without you, and you're like every day like, why, help, hate, right? It's all that. And for myself as well, like, I mean, a perfect example was when I was like, how old was I? 18. I flew over to England, and my girlfriend at the time told me that we can do long distance relationship, and I was like, I don't believe in this shit. And she's like, no, we can do it. I remember specifically we were in KLCC Park one day, and we saw this old couple, like old and grey, and they were holding hands, and she said this to me. This was like the pitch that sold me. She was like, you see those? See those people? You see the uncle, auntie? I said, yeah. We can be like them. I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like you present me the vision of our future. All right, I mean, so she flew to the States, I flew to England, and of course, the time difference sucks. And it was difficult because I think she flew a month earlier, and I was still in Malaysia, and the time difference already is like 12 hours, right? And every day we would Skype call at 2 a.m. for me because she doesn't have friends, so she's lonely. So I talked to her. I got to a point I was so sick that the doctor who did my medical check said I cannot take my medical check because I will fail, because my body was like, I had high fever, my mouth was full of ulcers, like I was dying basically, right? Because I would still need to attend college when I was still going, and also apply for university, and also talk to her and everything. So fast forward 1 month, she's there, she's got friends. I'm now in England. 1 month, no friends, right? I kind of expect that you would talk to me.
Yeah.
And then one day, I get a text on Facebook Messenger. I think it's the 17th of September. I can't remember. It said, I don't want to have anything to do with you anymore. That was the breakup text on Facebook Messenger. And then it was just like hardcore, ignoring, very mean and painful things said when I just wanted to get a closure conversation.
Yeah.
But I got none of that. I got like every time we tried to call or Skype, like she would pick up and then she would scold me and tell me I'm weak and her friends are around, and I'm like, wow, this is hardcore, man. Long story short, again, I was suffering with that. It threw me into depression because I had no family, no friends in England. I stayed in my room for like 2 weeks without leaving the room. And months of just like, how can I make her feel what I'm feeling? It's the same conversation, right? But I guess maybe because, I don't know, I feel like I'm a nice person. I didn't air it on like social media. I didn't be like, oh, this bitch, I didn't do that. I could have. I should have. I didn't. I didn't know what to do, right? And I tried to reach out and I was like, you know what? It got to a point where I'm like, this doesn't help my case. Like trying to explain to her how hurt I feel doesn't help anybody. So half a year in, one night I was going to bed and I said a prayer out loud and I just said, you know what, God, I just give this to you. I don't handle this. I don't deal with this anymore. I went to sleep and I just felt like so much more at peace. From the day onwards, I didn't reach out anymore. I stopped. I stopped trying already. And then a couple of months later, she's like, hey, want to meet up when we get back to Malaysia? I was like, that's interesting. Where I'm trying to get at is that as humans, again, when it comes to emotional stuff, right? Friendships, relationships are probably the best way to talk about these issues, right? That's where you invest a lot of time in. And that's where you also wish the worst for that person because they've hurt you. They mean so much to you, right? How then can we have options to be different in the way that we respond to hurt like this? Because again, all those months, she was having fun with her friends, right? She's going discoing and shit. And I'm in my room, like on my knees, feeling physical pain in my body. Like how... Like, of course, you know, there's time for grief. There's time for hurt and sadness, right?
Yeah.
But it comes to a point where you're like, you know what? The only person who is suffering is myself. Because I'm wishing the worst for this person. I want this person to feel what I'm feeling, right? And I feel that is the point where change can happen. Because when you realize that, you know what? I'm not getting anywhere with this. Like, how does this feelings and negative emotions and sadness and crying help me as a person? It doesn't, right?
But it's so interesting because I think you got the first step right.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about action steps in getting over this hurt that you're feeling, the first step is to always feel.
That's right.
And you did that really well, which is probably why you got to the point where you could surrender everything to God.
Yeah.
So for those of y'all at home who are going through periods of hurt, understand that suppressing it or being angry all the
not a
time
solution, man. Yeah.
is not a solution.
Correct.
Feeling.
Yeah.
Feeling it, feeling exactly why you're getting hurt, just feeling all those emotions coursing through your mind and your body and your thoughts. You need to let that happen because that is part of the healing process.
It's true. It's true.
It really is.
Nay, did you feel that was the case as well?
Well,
Try to push it aside.
I think what I just want to elaborate on what you said, right? You know, it's very important to identify what's going on. And I think I had this conversation recently in this year with a pastor. She was just telling me her story about unforgiveness and all that. And I had this whole unforgiveness thing going on in the beginning of the year because I was advising a friend and then she didn't want to listen to me. And then there was this whole hoo-ha about it. And she said this very sentence, unforgiveness is not for the other person, it's for you.
Come on, beautiful.
So when you let go, right, you're in peace, not the other person. The other person
Correct.
probably
It's not
doesn't
affected.
know.
Yeah.
Right.
They don't care, they don't
care.
know.
Yeah.
There's this saying, you know, when you are angry, you are punishing yourself for other people's mistakes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Get out, dude. Get out.
Now,
No.
so action steps. Let's
steps,
talk about that, right?
So number one, I think Raj put it perfectly. The more you run away from that feeling, the more you run away from the emotion of accepting the hurt, right? The further it's going to take you away from the path of recovery.
Betul sekali.
Because, you know, when you try to sweep shit under the carpet, right, it just compounds.
Yeah.
And then one day you got to deal with it and then you're just a broken person when that happens. So number one is just accept the fact that, you know what, you're hurt, take the time to grieve. I think that's very important in anything. Relationships, death. Relationships and death. It's important to take the time to grieve. You have liberty to be sad.
Correct.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to blame you. But then the question is, how long is too long, right? And so this is where we want to talk about things you can do. I think it's important to remove yourself from the equation. This is something that you hear quite a lot. You hear people telling you to get out of the situation you're in. You know, don't be there. It's true. I mean, if you are getting infected from a poisonous environment, putting ointment cream and knowing that you're sick doesn't make you better. You need to remove yourself from that situation,
Correct.
right?
Yeah.
So that's step number one. Whether it's disconnecting with that person, unfollowing that person on social media if you need to, distancing yourself from their friends and family and the people that you guys are associated with, to just basically give yourself that space to heal, right?
Yeah.
Raj, anything to add to that?
So a little life hack to build onto that is, if possible, if you're going through a really, really emotionally turbulent time with someone, try to go on a holiday if you can afford it. And I'll tell you why. So every day, we as human beings, we have routines. We wake up in the same bed. We do the same thing, brush teeth, eat breakfast, drive your car to the office, do your work, come back, watch a show on TV. It's an exact same routine. So we learned about this in NLP, where, we imprint all these habits in our mind, but at the same time, we can also imprint emotions into our mind. So if you start feeling hurt and you go through the same routines every day, listening to the same song, waking up at the same time, going to work, you start to associate that hurt to your daily routine.
Correct.
And it becomes very, very difficult for you to look at the situation from a macro view to try to understand why you're feeling in a certain way.
Yeah.
So when you go on a holiday, all these attachments and anchors in your mind are not there. It helps you think in a clearer manner to help you tackle the root of the problem so that you can come back with a clearer mind.
It's true.
And you're able to disassociate yourself from the pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go on a holiday, have fun.
Nee, what's a step you feel works for you?
I think it's really knowing who are your friends that you can trust, because these friends will be able to, I guess, talk you through the whole mindset they are in. No? If you are constantly alone, you allow your thoughts to just like consume
Correct.
you.
Yeah.
When they consume you, it's kind of scary. You really don't know what you'll do, the things that you will write, the people that you will hurt, even the family members that you will hurt unintentionally.
Yeah.
So I think surrounding yourself with people that will help you snap out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's important, man.
That's amazing.
For me, it's I don't think this applies for everybody because maybe this one applies for people who are very self-conscious, self-aware, right? I hate saying this because it makes me sound like so like I cannot relate to people. Just snap out of it. Like for me, it's just like okay, enough.
Yeah.
Like that. All of my hurt situations have always been okay, enough. Like that decision for myself to like, you know what, this is not worth the effort and emotional draining anymore. Just stop being hurt. Just stop, like, enough, bro, enough,
Yeah.
But I love what you both said. There's so much power in that about the people around you. It's so important to not have people to just add on to the hurt. You need to be surrounded by people who see the better version of you in the months to come, right? They set your eyes on, you know what, Raj, Mingyue, if you're sad, right? Okay, it's great to be sad, but in 2 months' time, right, what do we want?
Correct.
That's so important.
To add on to that, exactly what Mingyue said. Yes, you can protect and care for your friend, but you have to be real with them as well.
Correct. Yeah.
So a few more things to add to that conversation is that, number one, it is going to hurt. There is no doubt. People are going to wrong you now. They're going to wrong you in a year from now. They're going to wrong you 5, 10, 15 years from now. But the onus is on us. The responsibility is on us to develop the resilience to work through that.
Yeah.
So the next question is, and it's very interesting that you mentioned snap out of it, right? Because we have had this conversation before and both of us share that similar frequency.
Yeah.
I think the reason is fundamentally we understand that we as human beings are not perfect at all.
Yeah.
We are not perfect people. And unfortunately, sometimes through our imperfections, we project it onto other people.
Yeah.
So once you start understanding that, hey, this person probably is not very aware of what they are doing, and we don't take it personally because we know it's not about us, then we can reach to that point of surrender and forgiveness much quickly.
Correct. Yeah. And just maybe wrap this up or kind of like have some final conversation points. I think it's we don't want to disregard emotions and feelings.
Yeah.
I think it's important to understand that what we're saying is that your emotions are valid. The hurt is valid. But what you do with the hurt is the conversation that rings on for the rest of the year, of the rest of your life, right? Because there are two kinds of exes or breakups. One is the kind of exes and friends that you break up with and you never speak to that person again. That there'll always be a sore spot that if you went for an event or someone's birthday and you saw that person there, it's going to be a bit of awkwardness. And at the end of the day, right, the only person who is hurting from that is yourself, right? So for example, if you guys were together and you guys broke up and then you came to my birthday and you saw each other, if you were like, ugh, Raj, and then you left the party, right, you're not just missing out on the friendship with Raj, you're missing out because you didn't want to, like, you're missing out because you just left her. Then everyone else is like, hey, Nate, it's cake time, You miss out on the cake.
Whereas Naomi, she's in the car like, financial hurt upon him, academic hurt upon him.
Correct. So the only person there, I mean, and then for example, on the flip side, if Raj was completely at peace with the breakup and he was like, you know what, it's okay, I understand that Nate broke up with me because my eyes are too big. And if that's what she doesn't like, he understands after some hurt, right? He still comes to the room, he comes in and he's like, you know what, let's still be friends.
Yeah.
And you're still open to kind of like the opportunities and friendships
Just
around
with,
the people.
with shades on.
With shades on. Because now he's a bit more like self-aware and conscious, right? He gets to have some cake.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is that the way you move forward from something, it limits you or it gives you more choices. And that's just, I feel like that's the best way to look at things, because the only time that you are limited to options is when you limit yourself, really. You have everything in your capacity to be a better person and to be in a better place.
Yeah.
I mean,
Raj, what are your thoughts on... Yeah.
Do we want to continue with another story, or are we going to wrap this up?
I think we'll wrap this up. Before
wrap
we
this up.
end, or actually before we go into the wrapping point, for you guys to think of some wrapping up points,
Hey.
I'm going to play a song recommendation this week. It's from Brass Tracks and Jay Horde. It's called Guidelines. Check this out.
Really like me some trumpet.
It's a great song. Yeah.
By Melody.
Wow, that's a great song. You guys couldn't hear anything.
A bit lah.
It's perfect.
little.
Okay, so what are we landing on today, guys? What did we learn?
Naomi, what did we learn today?
Forgiveness is for yourself.
It's for yourself, man.
Take it.
Wow, it's there.
Yes.
Just take it.
And then you will live better. Maybe longer as well.
Probably less
Yeah.
tension for the sleepless nights.
Yeah.
Raj, what's your takeaway?
The main takeaway is really understanding that we as human beings are imperfect, and naturally throughout this whole journey of life, we might have committed some wrong towards another person. So we have to build that resilience. We cannot expect people to change, because they'll only change if they want to.
Yeah.
But we have to develop that resilience within ourselves. As difficult as it might be, it's going to be one of the best things you can do for your own life.
Wow, get out, dude. I love that. This one's, I mean, I guess for me, for everyone who's listening to this and is in that season of hurt, of unforgiveness, on being on either side, whether you hurt somebody or someone's hurt you, there is always a temptation to just spiral into that hurt, right?
Yeah.
To hate and let that hate fester and build and you come to a point where you absolutely despise this person or you despise the situation. It's never too late to stop. It's never too late to do something about it, right? And whether it's a phone call, whether it's a text to that person, or if it's to a friend to talk about it, it's never too late to do something about the emotions that you're having inside. Because at the end of the day, like Raj said, right, and Ney said, it's the inside that is hurting, man, not the other person. That person and what that person is feeling, you have zero knowledge, you have zero control.
Yeah.
You can only control yourself and what your actions and emotions are. So guys, I hope this conversation, it didn't end up being about wishing death on someone, but I feel like, if anything, this is learning how not to kill yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Emotionally.
It's a
Correct.
wholesome conversation.
I love this podcast. I love the conversations we're having. Guys, power to you. Love to your season of life. We wish you the best. Hope you guys had a great podcast listen. Let us know what your thoughts and teachings are. Let us know if you have any other thoughts. We'd love to hear them and we'll feature them on our stories. If you would like more Takeaway Table content, check us out on YouTube. Get us on Spotify as well.
Yes,
Get caught
yeah.
up with all the Table Talk podcasts, as well as a brand new season of Head Over Heels with Maggie. We're talking about some interesting topics, so make sure to check that out as well.
That's right.
We also have a ton of content on the Ming thing that's lined up for you guys, happening on the IG platform, as well as the YouTube one where Raj and I were recently on.
Yes. So if you guys haven't watched that video yet, be sure to check it out on the Ming Thing's
That's right.
official YouTube channel. How do you spell that? THEMING.
Wow.
THING. The Ming Thing.
Quick plug-in about the skit.
Yeah.
We shot it with no script.
That's right.
We had pointers, turned off the phone, and we just went with it. Nee, did you watch the video?
I loved it.
That's
It's so relatable.
Your story was like, actually, this is how they're like in real life.
Yeah.
It is.
It's true.
And then
It's no
speaking about
difference.
content, people have been asking about Amen, bro. Like, what's the story with that, man?
Okay, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We were going to come back in October.
Yeah.
We were. We were ready to come back in October. CMCO happened. Let's just blame it on CMCO.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
we got to come back in November. So for everyone who's waiting for Amen, just hold on a little bit longer, man.
Yeah. But, if something happens in October, we might just do it next year. We don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
But hey,
Just stay tuned.
Stay tuned. That's all we're going to say. Guys, we have a great week of content coming up for you. Make sure you check into all of that. Have a great week ahead. We love you guys. Be blessed, be safe. Wash those hands and keep that ass clean.
Yes.
Any final
Mask.
words for your fans and friends?
Wear your damn mask.
Okay, we're not wearing a mask. I don't think we can say that.
Wash your hands. Sanitize.
Vigorously.
Be kind.
Vigorously,
And
passionately.
Don't eat with your hands if possible.
Oh, Raj was eating his hands
I
yesterday.
love eating with my hands. I love eating other people's hands. Okay, thank you very much. Hope you guys enjoyed the
Alright,
podcast.
That's all the time we have today. See you guys.